Hello and welcome to the show. This is Do All the Things. And on today's episode, I've acquired some PTM7950, which I'm going to put on my RX 6950. Oh, they're a whole 1,000 off from each other. Let's see how that goes. If you've been following the comedy, you might be aware at some point in human history, I purchased myself an RX 6950 XT just before the 7950 XTs came out. But nevertheless, good card. I put it underwater using an AlphaCool, all sorts of funny names water block, and much to my surprise, I was unhappy with the thermals. Something ain't right. Now, thinking about it, I thought it might have something to do with the fins. So, like, if you look at water blocks, they often have like these micro fins, and the fins in here do not look very micro. And they fuss over these micro fins in like CPU water blocks that are rated for 150, 200 watts max, and supposedly these cards are 300 watts, yet they put less micro finning into them. Maybe they don't need them. Comparing it to an EK block, well, I'm finding they don't really do the micro finning either, so it can't be that. Surely, these should perform somewhat identically. Now, the Vega 64s that I had before, when overclocked, they were rated for about 250 watts to 300, and I'm pretty sure I got up to 300 out of these guys, and yet the thermals stayed in the 40s. I guess that would be package power, not intense die temperatures. This guy, its die temperatures hit the 90s, and the package temperature is the 60s. And this thing's also only 300 watts. Why is this 300 watt card run cooler than this 300 watt card? I don't know, but I'm wondering if I did something wrong. Actually, I know I did something wrong. There is one thermal pad that I located completely in the wrong spot. However, it's for cooling VRMs or MOSFETs, not necessarily the CPU, so that wouldn't matter. But I want to correct that today. But I find my thermal paste might be suspect. Nobody really talks crap about Thermal Grizzly. I'm assuming that's for good reason. They generally know what they're doing. However, I'm wondering if they have somewhat of a shelf life. So this is the tube of paste that I bought, the Thermal Grizzly Wicked Whatever Not. And the thing is, I think I bought this in 2017. And I pump it out and it looks awfully like it's not very smooth. It's not very paste-like. If I smush on it, it's more like a putty. Like it's not even sticking to my fingers. And I'm wondering if that's normal. If like this stuff's dried out and because of that, it's not squishing very good. One of the tells is that I also put this on my CPU a year before I got that card. And I'm not too impressed by my CPU thermals either. Even though I went from a 3800X to a 3950X, I was kind of expecting like, I don't know. I'm thinking this stuff's expired. I should contact them. Maybe I should have done that before I rolled camera. But that should be a thing of the past because I caught, much like everybody else, a Linus Tech Tips video where they are raving about this stuff called PTM7950. It is apparently some magic stuff that Honeywell makes that's a thermal pad that has thermals equivalent to almost liquid metal. And I actually, they're messaging me. I messaged them to find out where their packages come from because I thought they were going to be some American company. No, they come from Hong Kong. Can I reply to this? No, I can't reply unless I give them an email, and I do not want to give you my email, weebie, for just a quick inquiry. That defeats the purpose. Well, it's not quite the paywall we're used to, but okay. The reason why I asked them that is because this was suspect. I thought it was some American company, but I'm seeing right here, the package came from an importer in Toronto. And whenever I see this, this is common when I order stuff direct from eBay China, which makes me wonder. I went with Mod DIY because on the Linus Tech Tips video, they cited it as one of the few places you can get it that you're going to be getting something legit, whereas this might be something that's getting cloned, copied, that kind of thing. So I opened this package and I find out they've instead sent me a Glass Screen Pro Premium Tempered. Okay, but no, on the Arcer ender, Honeywell PTM7950, 8.5 watts per meter Kelvin. Is that good? You know what? I lost track of those numbers. So yeah, apparently they're using a glass screen protector shipping thing. I guess it makes sense because, well, there it is. And that's a fair amount of money. I didn't just buy the smallest one. A 30 by 20 I don't even think would do frig all. I think for most applications you'd need at least a 40 by 40, according to my measurements anyway. I don't know what these stickers are all about. I wish I could ask them. Does it give us some more information here, sir? They get in a roll? Oh, peel, stick, peel. That seems pretty freaking straightforward, bud. Maybe that's like an extension sticker that we could stick to the part to help peel the crap off. I guess that would make sense. I'm not gonna open this yet because we need to work on this pupper here. Okay, where do we start? Oh, why is this loose? How does this come off now? I'm pretty sure it's just a peel. Wow, we got some sticky in here. Don't wanna rip any, oh, there it goes. Ugh. So this strip here is the mistake that I made. As you can see, I've squished it down. It was supposed to go here. So when I installed this, there was a piece of strip missing that they had cited in the manual, but there was a piece stuck here, and it's like you were supposed to leave that there. And I might have ruined this now because I need to relocate it there. And that's going to be super weird to do because maybe I could putty squish it down. I guess that's a problem for future me, as in me in like about a few minutes when I'm ready to put this back on. And the rest of this is okay, just held on by these 4 screws. Okay, so now, anything else holding this together here, bud? Other than smushy pad? Oi! What's this little... There's a little plastic washer randomly here. Where'd that come from? Huh, okay. Oh, here's another one. I put plastic washers on these, there's only 2 of them. What's going on here, bud? For some reason, 2 of the screws holding down the CPU had plastic washers on them. Bada bing. They have self-destructive thermal pads, bud. That's no good. Well, let's hope that if we don't disturb these. So, how's that texture look? Does that look proper? Got some dust in here. That's not appreciated. But yeah, it looks like there was a rather thick layer in there. I can't imagine thermals transferring as efficiently as we would like. It's just so, it's like a putty. I have a hard time believe that this thermal grizzly is supposed to function like a putty. Where'd this come from now? Well, I don't know, these thermal pads are like putty, right? I guess I'll give this a quick sweep. Don't want to vacuum it too hard. I guess I'll try to patch some of these thermal pad bits together. You know, that's one thing I'll give EK. Their thermal pads don't rip apart like this. It's almost like this is one-time use, and then what? Well, you have to like get fresh thermal pads every time you reseat your block? Like, it's not like it's the biggest problem in the world. It's not something you need to do often. I guess at this level, we replace our cards before we need to worry about replacing our thermal paste, right? All right, let's make sure this is clean. I don't know why I have stretch marks on here all of a sudden. Now the annoying part is mucking out all this. Don't be too much of a try-hard. Don't want to damage anything. That said, I should probably move this last bit of thermal pad out of here. Oh, that sounds grindy. Sometimes it's a case of doing one of these. Come on, squirt downwards. Spoop-de-poop-dip spants. I think that's gonna do it as good as I could do it without doing it too hard. Okay, so roughly how much do we need here? 19, actually it's 18.3, so we'll say 20. 20 by 30. Isn't that one of the sizes that they offered? Yeah, they do start with a 20 by 30 for $8.30. So if you're doing a 7950, assuming we don't need to do this whole other surface, like, do you think there'd be any advantage to putting cooling on this outer surface here? No, because it's shallower. Okay, so 20 by 30. All right, what do we have here? And is this gonna expire too if we don't like repackage seal it? So I'm assuming this is gonna have covers on both of its sides. Oh yeah, there it goes. All right, so this is fortunately gonna last me a while. I got enough, I wanted to put it on my CPU too, but I'm thinking of upgrading. I've been shopping around for a 7950 there for the last little while. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, so I figured I wouldn't bother putting on my CPU until that comes in. So how are we gonna get a more accurate measure here? I need something relatively fine point. Okay, how about there? Right like that. And then we'll go this way and we'll go like right like that. I guess we'll do some precision cutting here. Oh, look at that. Kind of lines up. Isn't that convenient? This must be in millimeters. Yeah, it is. These are definitely centimeters, millimeters. It's 20 by 30, which means we can straight edge this along the line that we have to work with. Oh, it looks a little bit wrinkly though, bud. Also maybe not as straight as I'd like. Oh, my head's in the way. Okay, is that gonna do? Yes, I think that's gonna do. So I suppose now the next logical thing to do is just like the Thermal Grizzly, we'll put it away. We'll be reluctant to use it because of how expensive it is. We'll save it just for the finest of installs, which only happens once every few years. So we'll basically just let it dry up and expire before we finish it up, right? I suppose now we will engage in some reasonably drawn facsimile of a satisfying peel. If I can find the edge here. Oh, I think I found an edge. Okay, the stuff kind of like wants to flip back. Okay, let's plop her down. Okay, it's not perfectly center, but I think it's gonna be good. It's kind of great you get such even coverage. Like that's almost a bit of a selling point in and of itself. I guess we'll just kind of make sure it's stuck. Then we gotta kind of find another edge. Oh, look at that. Oh, that was easier than I thought it was gonna be. That kind of made it to sound like it's gonna be a tricky process, right? All right, double check everything here is good, even though like we got bits that are broken off, but I think they are hanging on the edge right there. I think if we center this up nice, we'll be pretty much back where we left off. I need to elevate this flavor. Oh, I asked the block here, bud. Eisblock, GPX. That's the first I remember the GPX part. Okay. I'm guessing there was plastic washers originally stuck to the board or something. I do not know. I swear there was 2 of them, and now I cannot find the second. I guess that's what happens when you indiscriminately just dump everything out. Oh, there it is. It's stuck to my finger. I'll put it like kitty corner on the opposite side. I guess I'll do the thing where I go back and forth, just snugging this up all around. Careful not to slip with the screwdriver, right? Knock an SMD off the board. Okay. So, this thermal pad clearly is not fluffing back up. I will salvage a scrap piece of plastic clamshell here, sir. Let's see if we can carefully... Oh yeah, there we go. Comes right off. Nice. It's a very brittle putty. Thermal putty. Ain't that just something? Oh, look, it's spread this way, eh? How did that even happen? I guess we'll squish it down these holes here. Okay, that's back to close to the original size. Touch long. We can go a bit more. Still a touch long, but so is this piece. I remember it being slimmer and taller, so I guess more like this. Yeah, it looks sexy as frig, not. Okay, well that's gonna have to do. So, cautionary tale, don't even bother removing that thermal pad. Here we got some scrap bits from the other thermal pads we can add to it. All right, let's slap this Slim Jim back on there and hope for the best. Oh yeah, we'll get some squish factor in there, bud. Okay, let's screw her. So, sub the profile. This one is good. This one's got quite a bit more. Oh yeah, same with this one. Yeah, it's not the most squish factor, but there is squish factor. We're not even done yet. We gotta get these 2 screws down. Okay. Now, can you observe the squish factor? Where even is it? Gotta see it from the bottom. There it is. The little sausage. I think that'll do. I guess we could keep this stored in here. That should do. Oh boy. Okay, so because we have a suspect thermal goo, I'm gonna go ahead and inspect on this CPU. Might as well. It's been a while since I've had this thing off. This last nut is being weird. Oh yeah, I see what happened here. All right, what do we got here? Aside from my freaking RGB coming off. Oh, look at that. Bleh. There's like, and melty. That's freaking weird, bud. You're super weird, bud. Along with this guy, get off there. Gotta get this back on here. All right, let's clean up this mess. Yeah, I'm kind of pulling a bad linus here where I shouldn't be working on this over the board. Ugh. I should put something to cover that slot so I don't drop debris into it. You know, for the longest time, I didn't know you could use alcohol for this, and I just used like lighter fluid. This is an old lowly Ryzen 3000 series. How big of a thermal pad would we need? If I can even get the tool in here. That's frippin' sweet, bud. 35, 38. So yeah, I guess we would need, you know, maybe a 30 with a little bit of unoverlap. Full coverage is like 38. I guess 40 by 40 would be the ticket. That's getting up there in price for just 10 mil more around, but you might be able to get away with 30 by 30. So I'm not using PTM for this. I'm just going to use some Noctua Special here. Does it say the meter Kelvins on here? Geez, this stuff's feeling pasty too here. Maybe we need to flare off a bit of excess to get to the good stuff. No, that's just it. I don't know, maybe paste is supposed to be, I don't know. Why do I have memories of this stuff being more viscous? All right, well, let's get squishing. Slot it on there. Give it a squish and a wiggle. Yeah, squish and a wiggle. Hopefully it has a good smush to it. We're gonna have to get it warmed up. Okay, that's secured back into place. Let's see if I can get the RGB hiding. Oh, is it ever? Huh. All right. Hopefully that's not a problem flopping around there all indiscriminately. Maybe we should tie it up. Yeah, you know what, just for good measure, I guess in a future iteration, I should probably invest in re-securing that RGB. In the meantime, I'm just putting a piece of frickin' twist tie in there to make sure it doesn't fall down and contact the board. And if we tuck this away strategically, it's not gonna look completely like ass. That'll do. And get the card back in place, which should be a bit easier to do while it's lying down like this, actually, because it sags a lot. Oh, the power! Oh boy. All right, that should do. Gotta make sound effects when I move this thing. So how quick and easy is this gonna be now? Tuck some towel here, tuck some towel here. This one goes in the bottom end via this. How much water is gonna spill out? Huh, none. How much water is gonna spill out of here? Enough. Get on there. Oh, I love how quick disconnect these fittings are when they're properly formed to your tube. Now I'm hoping none's gonna bubble out the top here. Oh, that's good. Get that on. Specialty tool. Schwinge tight. Now which way did this tube go again? I think it came through here. We need to release this shmoo. Not much wants to come out. Oh, geez! Ah, well. That's a good thing I had these towels in place. Had a little bit of a pressure change there, bud. Crisis mostly averted. As long as, see, I put it on the seam here so that it wouldn't go under the card if it did leak out there. And that's a good call. Just can't do this without slight incident. It's like that meme. Me doing things alone versus when someone watches. I gotta do the thing where I top off the resi, right? Hopefully don't need much more than this. We gotta rig up our PWM box. I have 5 amps of direct power here now, coming off the solar system. You gotta find my pump. Wait, is that the pump? No, that's not the pump. This is the pump. And this is the pump WM. And at some point I acquired a new foot switch to replace the old unreliable one. Oh, there it goes. Slowly now. And just leave it on. Went back to normal pretty quick with little to no interaction from me. A little bit of bubbles going through, but I think you get the idea. I just have to re-bleed this loop. I just have to re-bleed this loop. So I'm gonna pause right now and come back when I got something more interesting to show you. Okay, here we are. It's all set up. Well, it's been set up for a while. It's like a whole week later. I wanted to give things time to kind of settle in, time for that shmoo to shmoo. You know what I mean? Just kind of spread out the way it does. Apparently, you don't get the best results right away. So jumping right into it, we'll get the CPU out of the way real quick. See if there's a difference there. There wasn't when I first tried it. I wonder if there's a difference after a week. So I'm pulling up my Feisty right here. We'll check out the fan expert. We'll check out the CPU fan, it's tracking. So we'll grab ourselves a little Prime 95 here. Now I'm gonna go my typical large FFT test, even though that seems to be taboo. And we're gonna put in just one thread to see if some tomfoolery that was happening is still happening, because this is kind of ridiculous and I don't understand. And the first thing we notice is our fans. Our CPU fan pin almost instantly, regardless of water temperature being low. Can you even see that, or is this too small? Here, let me scale things up a bit. Oh, you know what? It is behaving a little bit better. Before, when I first installed it, only doing one thread, pinned the CPU to 70C and maxed out the fans. It's not doing that today. I think I originally started with 4 threads. So let's go back in here. That should give us about a quarter of the CPU's potential TDP. Oh, there goes the fans. And there goes the temperatures up to 70 already, even though the water temperature's low. I don't believe I have any overclocks applied. No, it doesn't look like it. So yeah, with only about a 65 watt TDP, 4 threads burning, for some reason, my CPU instantly gets pinned to 70C. So either I've made things worse. I wonder if my water block needs to be cleaned or something like that. It's been a while. I think I got it in 2017. I haven't physically taken it apart since then. I only run plain water though, well, treated water. So either way, this makes no sense and it's disappointing, and it adds, the plot thickens. We're just gonna cut this out. So I'm gonna bust out this pupper right here, set it to the settings that I think it was at before, pretty much maxed out. 68, 69. So yeah, that's the frame rate we were getting before. But what about our temperatures? Now, one burning question I have is if I can run 2 iterations of OBS's here. Okay, so the performance metrics, which are stuck, 56. So far, those temperatures are way better. So far. As I recall, this was in the 60s, and this got up into the 80s or 90s. I don't know. You know what, I'm gonna pop on the YouTube and watch bits of my old video to figure this out while this simmers a bit. Okay. So this test's been running for a half an hour now. We look at our water temperature, which is 40 degrees C, which apparently historically is about as high as it's gonna go. Our fan profile on the main rad shan't let it get much hotter than that. If it was going to, the fans would be running harder. And if we look here, we're at 60 and 73. Historically, according to previous videos, it was 63 and 78. Oh, look at that. It bobbles down to 59. So we've dropped 3 degrees on the package, 5 degrees on the junction. Well, I guess that's about as good as we could expect from a TIM upgrade. That is, I guess, better. What could I say? Will it make any difference in a game? Oh, it jumps down pretty quick when we take the load off. Oh no. Can I play it without the update, please? Okay, no, it looks like we have to update it first, which is likely to skew our results, so... Oh, I got update 3D Mark II. Okay, hold on. Okay, it looks like we got Cyberpunk going here. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that this is all in the same settings as before. Oh, here we go. 56, okay, similar as before. Nothing special. Damn, I've been playing Sega the last little while. I am not used to seeing graphics like this. I've gotten used to that bitty 16-bit action lately. Oh, we just broke 60. Yay. And over there, our temperature's 58, 75. Oh, we actually got a higher junction temperature going here. Clock speed at 2600. This is a different screen that I'm used to. Okay, so what's that mean here? Cyberpunk, our minimum 44.77, average 58.99, max 82.31, frames rendered 37.89. And of course that's a 1-run sample size because I'm a professional. So how's that compare, buds? When we had the GPU and CPU overclocked, obviously it's slower. And with just the GPU overclocked, obviously it's slower. Custom, it's slower. Well, our minimum's higher. I guess we'll just look at the average in the frames. So the thing to beat is 58 and 37. So what do we got here? Rage. We didn't beat Rage. We didn't beat Auto. We didn't beat Auto there. We didn't beat Undervolt. Bias overclock. So what's this? We're not even beating stock. We're not beating anything. It's the lowest. It's the lowest one. That's funny. Upgrade, get less performance. Let us crank our power target and see what happens. Okay, those numbers, they look pretty much the same there. Yeah, these look about the same. Let us just run an auto overclock here. See if we get similar numbers. Because I'm suspicious of the CPU at this point. 2707, yay! Not immediately seeing an improvement. No, we're not seeing the same kind of numbers that we were seeing from the previous runs, so none of this is gonna matter. But our temps are staying okay, so there's potential. You know what? I didn't have this before. What happens if I go, well, let's just turn this on and see what happens. FSR 2.1. Huh. I think it does look a bit different, but it looks okay. 80s. 80s is nice. I'll take 80s. But yeah, it's maybe not... I don't think it's quite as sharp. I don't know. There's something about it, but I can't quite put my finger on it. That might have something to do with the fact that it's a virtual universe and I can't actually put my finger on it. You know, I don't think the future would actually be this interesting looking because, well, you know how it is. The more further in time we get, the more cheap as crap stuff gets, so it's like nobody puts effort into making stuff interesting. Oh, those are some interesting numbers. 5723. Well, this is potentially an uneventful write-off. Maybe we could get more insight from 3D Mark, which for some reason I have no data on file about. Is this an older... Ah, yes. I did all my overclocking tests in friggin' Cyberpunk. Oh, you know, I do have 2 iterations. I have 2 iterations of OBS going where I only had 1 before. Okay. Well, I'm gonna turn off my secondary one. Oh, there she goes. So far, it's looking smooth. Temps are, oh, junction temperature. I saw it burst at this to 82. We no longer have that screen recording. It's going up and down with load, obviously. Now let's see those actual benchmarks. 120 some frames a second. Is that good? Huh. I'm seeing 370 watts of power consumption. Junction temperature to 90. Current temperature 65. Maybe that's where I was getting that data from, because in my memory, I was seeing 60s and 90s. Maybe that was in here. I have the power target set to 15%, as per the last time I apparently ran this test. 370 degrees. Clock speed, 2565. 2601. All right, what do we got here? Graphics score, 21,045. Oh, that's quite a bit higher. Could that be part and parcel of a driver update? Because I'm pretty sure we're not running the same drivers right now as we did when we first did these tests. So we got a stock of 19. I forget what no SD means. And then XT wet, when I put the water block on, only 17. So, graphics score 21,045, CPU 14,369, which is pretty much the same. Time spy, total score 19,673. Compared to stock, no SD, and here is PTM with a 15% power target. So I'm gonna turn off power target, I'm gonna try that again. I am just all over the place, and my camera is no longer running. Check, at least my audio is. So first thing I'm noticing that you can't see is with power target turned off, I'm getting similar power consumption off this system. Okay, so now what are we looking at? PTM STK stock, 19,665, 20,994, 14,474. Well, this is interesting. I turn off power target, I'm running her stock, and I'm getting similar results as with power target turned up. It's almost like the card is detecting that it's still cool and using more power. Maybe that's the thermal action we're getting off that stuff. Or maybe this has something to do with the drivers. I really should have ran some tests before I did the swap. I just kind of figured, oh, I already have the data on file. Let's just frickin' hammer out some tests. But no, I guess it doesn't work that way. That said, I gotta bust into Cyberpunk real quick. I'm gonna run one more pass with only 1 iteration of OBS running like I did it last time. Nah, the numbers look the same so far. Okay, so 43, 80, 64, A38. Oh, well, the good news is we've returned back to our stock numbers. Okay, maybe there's something to this. Give me a 15% power target. Or no, screw that. What gave the best, quickest results here? Straight up average auto OC. I'll tell you right now, those are the same damn numbers we were getting before. All right, I think we're done here. Okay, so it's probably time I put this comedy to an end. What did we learn here today? We learned that my Nikon Z50 batteries auto discharge. I blew through 3 in an hour. If you don't use them for a while, they go flat. It shouldn't be that way. We learned that things have changed, like drivers, so we can't get accurate results. That said, we've learned that I'm no good at testing hardware, but it is quite possible, due to the fur rendering benchmark, that yes indeed, we can be awarded a couple degrees cooler performance with this PTM stuff. Instantly jumps to the same numbers. Can we turn that into real world performance gains? I don't know. Because it seems like the thermal compound that I had there before was still doing pretty good. I thought it was sus, but apparently it wasn't sus. Apparently it was still doing pretty good. At the end of the day, this is possibly one guy's first world experience working with this stuff. Is it worth the investment? Maybe to someone who knows better how to overclock than me. I can make my system run nice, and I like to play with high-end hardware. Tuning on it, well, I know my way around RAM. I'm planning on getting a Ryzen 7000, so tuning on DDR5 is going to be a whole new learning curve. When will I feel like obsessing over it to learn it that well? I don't know, but if you stay tuned, you might just find out. Yeah, this testing was really half-hearted, wasn't it? Huh. We're just having fun here.